At the beginning of the season, you are still trying to accumulate match condition from a collective perspective and also from an individual perspective. But when you do have a short turnaround of time between matches, it's a good and it's a bad. The good is in the sense that particularly after a not so good performance, you have an opportunity very, very soon to wash it out and get a good feeling. And that's what you want, particularly in a big club. You want confidence, because confidence breeds good performances. But the bad is that you don't have a lot of time on the pitch to train schemes and tactics and reinforce certain tactical elements from the game, and then that's why you rely on video analysis to be able to check and analyze the performance, and which already we started by doing. So that already was the major part of today's training session, and then you focus on regenerating the player. The players now have to go home, rest, eat well, and try to be in the right space for tomorrow, where we work a little bit on the tactics. But generally, that's why preseason is so important, because that is the window that you get to instill the foundation from a tactical perspective, and then you incorporate, because you never train in isolation now in modern football because you've got no time. So we've always adopted an economical way of training that looks to progressively increase the load from the players, and that's why every season, you know, even when we started last season, we said we need 4 or 5 games to get into the rhythm. We will need 4 or 5 games again to get into our rhythm, and as soon as we are in that space and we catch on, we know that we are one of the best, if not the best, sides in this league, and we have that responsibility to always show that personality on the pitch. The responsibilities of coaches is 3 things. 1, respect the game of the past. If you've got no respect for the game of the past, you've got absolutely 0 possibilities of moving forward. Understand the game of the present. What is happening? What are these people doing? You know, what is Thomas Tuchel doing? What is Pep doing? What is Klopp doing? What are they doing from a training methodology perspective, from a managerial perspective, from training curriculum and all these things, tactics and style of play, and then anticipate the game of the future. That's your last responsibility as a coach, because then if you don't anticipate the game of the future, you get left behind and you're always catching up. So I have big respect for the game of the past. I understand the game of the present, and that may sometimes mean that the game of the present in South Africa might sometimes be the game of the past in Europe, because we are still trying to catch up. And that is the reality, but we are making very big strides, and I think you can see with the level of coaching in South Africa that I think the gaps are closing and teams are very well coached. When you watch the games now, at the beginning, you see that the teams actually are better coached. So it's good for South African football, in my opinion. But I think the fixture in itself has always presented that type of spectacle where I think you even see with the numbers inside the media room how much of an anticipation there is from the general public and the football lovers. And that's how it should be. You know, in football nations, the big football clubs drive the interests, they drive the passion and the play from a technical perspective. So I know Coach Arthur well. We come a long way from the days of Black Poison versus Galatasaray. So we have huge respect for each other, but that's as far as it goes, because on match day at the end it's 11 versus 11, and then it's the quality of the pitch, the quality of the performances from 11 players that ultimately gives you a good football match. There's a huge metamorphosis. It's not even a change. It's like the team has taken a different direction, particularly from the vision that the club, you can see, has set. And you when you watch them now, there's the strategy in the transfer market is also to get younger players like Bonyaupe and Solomons, and then they also promote and give opportunities to Bruce Vuma, to Tuzi, and that is the direction that they've taken, and a direction that they haven't taken in a very, very long time. When you look at the last three coaches, as you've mentioned, there would have been a huge reliance on players like Rama and Paka and Matoho. But it looks like the cycle is changing. It's changing from how the vision has been set from the top. And therefore that influences a lot more things, like the selection of the coach, which is Arthur, and he knows the DNA of the club. He played for the club. He worked in the academy and the youth structures. He worked as an assistant to many of the coaches that you mentioned. That also influences the recruitment policies, because you've seen the transfer market now, even when there are certain bigger players available, they've resorted to going for Yusuf Maart, for an example, and Dupree, who are relatively a lot younger than what would be available for Chiefs, you know, in a normal context of a couple of years ago. So it's interesting to see. It's good for South African football. They're a big club. They've got a good coach. They've got an extremely good squad. And the squad that they have now is a squad that is then able to play the game that they speak about, the high-octane, aggressive pressing. And you see the goals. You see the goals against Maritzburg. If Yusuf Maart doesn't jump out of midfield and go and be persistent with the press, then maybe there's no mistake, and then there's no possibility for Keegan Dolly to score. But the same happened even in the first goal, you know. You look how aggressive the midfield line was in joining the front three. But you need the right profile of players to be able to do that. So the vision, the recruitment, the playing methodology, style, is good to see that it's aligned, and we know we've got a very difficult game for us on Saturday, but we love difficult games. We love difficult games, and we have the necessary experience to be able to deal with difficult matches. I just say that they think they are a big team, and rightfully so, and big teams never change their profile. They adapt and adapt to certain situations, but never ever change their profile. So I would say he is correct to make that type of statement. Where will it be won or lost? On the pitch. On the pitch. And that's why I welcome the tag, because the tag won't play on the pitch. So we don't. And we don't have the right at the moment. It's okay. We don't have the right. We lost the match yesterday, and Chiefs won the previous match. So it's okay. We'll humbly take it, and we'll approach this game with the utmost humility and accept that we are the underdogs for this one. That gives us no pressure also, so which is good. It's only 2 matches into the season. We all know that Peter's got goals. So before we start writing columns and articles, I think you guys know that he's going to score. So before we criticize him, let's just wait a little bit and give him a little bit of time to get the engine going. It's a slow start, but he will get goals. He will get goals, and that I can also guarantee you that he will get goals.